Some artists I remember for a single masterpiece. Others I remember because their entire body of work feel like a confession. These painters belong to the second kind. His history doesn't begin with the madness or darkness, it begins with discipline. He was trained in one of the strictest artistic traditions of his time. Years of study, endless sketches, anatomical precision, absolute control over form. He learned how to paint the right way, the way institutions admired, the way critics rewarded, the way history approved. And it worked. Success came early. He could paint the human body as if it were carved from stone, frozen in a perfect moment of tension. On the surface, his career looked like a triumph of order and mastery. But art rarely stays on the surface. Slowly, almost imperceptibly, something began to shift. The themes grew heavier, the composition tighter, the figures more strained. Beauty remained, but it no longer felt calm. It felt controlled, almost forced. His paintings began to revolve around power, not power as glory, but power as pressure, the kind that bends people from the inside. Faces no longer simply existed in space, they confronted the viewer. Bodies were no longer relaxed, they resisted, endured, dominated, or surrendered. That makes his work unsettling is not violence itself, it's intention. There are no chaotic scenes, everything is carefully constructed, every muscle, every gesture, every shadow is deliberate. Suffering is not accidentally here, it is designed. And that precision it makes uncomfortable to watch. At the same time, his art was never crude, it remained technically flawless, almost classical. He used the language of beauty to speak about things that were deeply disturbing. And people noticed. During his lifetime, audiences were fascinating. After his death, the reaction became more complicated. His paintings started to be read differently, through the lens of history, politics, and theology. Some saw strength, others saw cruelty. Some admired the discipline, others feared what it represents. Decades later, certain historical figures would admire his work not for its humanity, but for its sense of control, dominance, and order. Not because the artist painted ideology, but because his art revealed how easily beauty can be used to justify it. Of course, he never painted for the future, he painted for his time, a time of tension, hierarchy and anxiety, when society were obsessed with authority, structure and greatness. His art didn't invent these ideas, it reflects them with brutal clarity. That is why his work still feels relevant today. When we look at his painting now, they don't shock us with blood or horror. They disturb us because they ask an uncomfortable question. What happens when the perfection loses empathy? His legacy is not simple. He is neither a villain nor a hero of art history. He is a mirror, a reminder that technique alone is never neutral, and that beauty without reflection can become something dangerous. This is why his paintings still demand attention, not because they offer answers, but because they refuse to let us look away.